Okay, so we're going to talk about held ball today. And I'm hoping it's not just a bunch of two people tugging at the ball, but when to call it, what the rule is. See if I have my rules book here. I don't have the new one yet, but I've got the old one. We can read it if we need to. Um, and I, of course, as always, have posted some plays on Facebook for our Facebook friends. We'll go over those as well. So let's get started, unless anyone has anything to add before we get moving. All right, here's play number one.
That's a foul.
What do we think of that play? I heard somebody say that's a foul.
Foul or travel, but they can't push the guy over.
Let's play it fast again first, and then we'll slow it down. Okay, who says that's a good call? Held ball. It's okay if you would do.
Yeah, I agree.
Or we also have the option. I heard someone say traveled.
I hear a timeout.
Timeout. Or a foul. Could be any of those four, really.
He's got the ball.
What does the defender do to try and get the ball? If that ball's on the ground and that player's on the ground, is this like football? Can he just go after it and do whatever he wants?
No.
No, he cannot. He just fell on another player. That is a foul.
Wow.
Even if he grabs the ball, let's say he grabs it. And it looks looks like he's grabbing it right here, right? He got the ball first. That does not allow him then to pancake his opponent.
Right.
That's a foul.
The defender never really gets the ball. He puts a hand on it, but he's got his other hand on the body.
It might still be loose, but that is, I think, regardless.
No, right? I meant the player in the
not.
white jersey is not. I don't believe he has any possession. That's what I meant. The player in the black jersey, the new offensive player.
Well, wouldn't it be a dead ball? I mean, he's calling it held ball, so dead ball, and then he falls on top of him. So it would have to be either intentional or
no. The foul occurred before.
He blows his whistle about here, and so I don't know if he's cleaning it up or if he really thinks it's a jump ball. Because I understand why you would call a jump ball here. I understand it. But again,
by definition, it's not. It's not. It can't be a held ball by definition.
Well, if by definition two players are holding the ball, so if you are going to determine that this white player is holding the ball, we'll just assume he thinks he's holding the ball. And then I don't know exactly how it says, but if one player can't obtain control without undue roughness, then it's a held ball. Now you could say, well, he fell on him, so if I don't call a held ball, that's undue roughness. No.
The rule says opponents have their hands, both. He doesn't have both hands on the ball in such a way that he can control and obtain without undue roughness. The guy in the white's barely touching the ball.
Okay, now
no way that's a jump ball or held ball.
Now I don't disagree with you, but let's watch as it's real time. I can understand in real time the official seeing him. He has the ball. You might have to use your imagination, but okay, he's got it. Now maybe he didn't actually have it, but that's what you're seeing as an official on the floor at the time. Like, okay, he's got it. I better call a held ball. So I can understand. For me, I can understand where he came up with the call. Am I stretching here, or can you all at least grasp the possibility of that's why he has it?
Yeah, that's definitely why
I
he
can
has
say
it.
that, but it's still a bad call.
Well,
Okay.
I'd still love to hear what the lead had to say because he's looking through the back of this player. I would argue maybe he can't tell when the player in the black jersey gains possession.
Well, I would have a question for you, Josh, is to the lead, who should have the call, and then should the other, like the lead in that case, have his eye on the bench looking for a coach, looking for a timeout?
Hold on. I just want to ask that again in just a second. I want to go back. I think it was Mr. Warren who was talking about both hands on the ball, right?
Correct.
And you now again, I'm defining this specifically with these words, but these words are important. It says opponents have their hands so firmly on the ball. So you could say, well, yeah, he's got his hands on the ball, but it's not so firmly yet. Like you really got to think like both of them have got it, and neither one is going to get possession without them yanking at it, right? Is that what you're getting at, Mike?
I'm saying the black guy firmly has the ball. The black uniform guy firmly has the ball. The guy in the white uniform does not at all. In fact, he's trying to touch the ball and he's creating a foul by pushing the guy over to get it.
Okay. And I would say, let's say, okay, we all have to say yes on this. White has his hands firmly on the ball. Okay. Whether that's what you see or not, that's what's happening right now. We all have to agree. That still does not give the right.
His hand is barely touching the ball.
I understand, but
I don't know that his left hand is even on it.
I understand, but in order to prove my premise, we need to agree that this is what's happening. So if they both firmly have it, unless black yanks white on top of him, that would be the only way white could land on top of that player and it be a held ball. This to me looks like white is diving on top of black, yes, while holding the ball or getting the ball, and just lands on him. Black didn't pull him on top. Do we agree?
He turned over.
Yes.
So my point of this video is, and we see this a lot, very often, there's balls that are loose on the ground and one grabs it and then players just start diving into because they're coached to get a loose ball on the ground. I get that, but you cannot dive on top of another player. If we start calling this a foul, every time we see this, regardless of hands holding the ball, right, a player dives another player to get to the ball, that's a foul.
Right.
And if we get this a foul every time or almost every time, it will stop.
That's true.
I agree with that. The easy way out on that play is to call it jump or a held ball.
Right, because
that's the easy way out.
Because they're both going after it. I don't want to penalize the kid for landing on it. Let's go with the held ball. No, I'm penalizing the kid. You can't dive on another player.
Agreed.
Okay, now again, I know I did a lot of they both have it. I'm not suggesting that that's what was happening, but in order to get our minds around what you can and can't do, is kind of what we're working on with that. All right.
Hey, Josh, I was the one that said, timeout. If you play it back at regular speed, I hear the person that has possession of the ball yelling timeout.
I'm turning the volume up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so I hear a timeout about here. I'm not granting a timeout, even if someone is yelling for it, because I can't determine that there is sole possession. Would we at least tend to agree on that? If someone's going to ask for timeout, they have to be having or holding the ball all by themselves.
Then you're saying it's a jump ball right there because two of them have possession.
No, because just because two people have possession does not make it a held ball. What makes it a held ball? If they both so firmly have it that one cannot obtain control without undue roughness. So you're allowed to have two people holding the ball or controlling the ball. You cannot call a timeout if two people are controlling the ball. It does not make it a held ball if they're controlling the ball, but only if you think that one can't get control without undue roughness.
Right.
And I don't know about all of you, but when there's like two people like fighting for the ball, I'm not calling a timeout. I want to make sure that they have the ball before I call the timeout. Now, if I know they have it a split second before he comes in, okay, I get that. In your judgment, you see that. But when there's hands and there's grabbing, there's that, I want to be sure.
Can you go back to the part of the video before they come together? Because it looks to me like the player in the black jersey is reaching his hands up to even make a timeout signal.
Yeah, I saw that too. Looks like he's.
You're saying the
like
white player?
No,
the black player.
The black player?
Yeah, he's putting.
Oh, that's right, because black got possession.
Right. He's calling timeout.
Right there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we have it slow, if we can see.
Back.
You can't really see with it slow, but I did it fast. You're right. You can kind of see that.
Watch him. He's going like this.
Now, okay. Now, to be fair, though, from this angle, he might have been going for a timeout, or he might have been cupping the ball now to try and protect it even more.
This is where I think the lead can be really helpful.
Let's go back and check positioning. You said it before. I didn't ignore you. I just didn't get to that.
The lead's way across the court.
Okay.
But he has a clear angle. He has a clear line of sight.
The way the play is now, do we agree with the positioning of the officials?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think they're good. And I think lead is wide, and lead should be wide because all the players are over on that side. He wants to get a good look. So I like that. The trail is high, but the trail needs to be high to see that play. I guess he could come down. And I don't know if they just transitioned into here or not, if he hasn't come down yet, but that's okay. And the center is perfect spot. So I like the positioning here. As the play progresses, yeah, so they stay. They're just officiating. Ball comes over. Do you see the lead? What's the lead doing?
Closing down.
Closing down. So that's great. But now as the ball is loose, we need to all three officials, you still watch your primary, but we all now need to have our rabbit ears up going, where's that ball going to go? Because it could get popped out. It could get deflected. Lots of things could happen. Or someone from your area could go run into that pile and you're going to have all the information about that player, right? So we all need to be aware of what's going on. Okay, as it comes down, if the lead maybe comes in a little, I think you're right. Might be able to give a little more information on that. The lead can't be timid. But in the same respects, I'm going to talk out of the other side of my mouth here. It's right in front of the center. Yes?
That's right. Yes.
I'm not coming in.
White goes right in front of him and blocks him. White 5 obstructs the view.
Even if you see a timeout signal clearly in someone else's PCA, you're not going to call it?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm saying is when a play is right in front of my partner, I'm a lot more wary about what I'm going to come in and I'm going to get. There are 5 players in that spot, so you should be having the lead and the center both looking at that play.
Agreed.
Would we agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, Michael, for me personally, if I see him clearly calling for a timeout, yes, I'm coming in and I'm getting it. Even if it's in front of my partner, because in this situation we've talked about, his back is to him. His mouth was away. He might have been yelling the other way. He's not going to be able to hear him as well. So yes, I am going to come in and get that, but I'm going to be thinking, in those split seconds, my partner's right there. My partner's right there.
What would make the center move a couple steps either way to get a better view of it?
Well,
he's all right.
As the ball's coming in, he's planting his feet so he can officiate the play, right? So I don't know. I'm not going to fault him for just sitting there. Now is where I'm going to start. So here's a good general rule, you sit there and you want to officiate, you want to look like you're officiating. And once you start seeing players converge, even though you might be in a great spot, you might want to move a little to this side or move a little to that side. Perception wise, it looks like you're really working to see the play. I think that's where I don't think he really needed to adjust in order to get a better look. He was right there. I think he was close enough. I think he should have been able to see it, but maybe move a little just for perception purposes. That's why we should always have, bent knees, loose hips. You want to be able to kind of bounce because it just looks like, well, that guy's really working and he's trying to get the best look. And at least for those that are watching that understand. So
Josh, I have a question. In that particular situation, when Black's on the ground holding the ball, to me, I see Black has possession. Wouldn't we, and look at the score and the timeouts, wouldn't we want to be paying attention to the Black coach getting a timeout when the kid's down, holding the ball, like right now?
So the Black coach, the center is probably going to be, I don't want to say more prone to hear him because he might be into that play, but he's closer. The trail should probably be looking across, but here's the problem with that. And maybe even the lead can look across because he's looking that way, right? So opposite table officials can see a coach jumping up and down, maybe asking for a timeout.
Yeah.
But why is that problematic? Why would that be problematic?
Their focus should be on the ball and the play.
Yes, but also I see the coach yelling timeout. Do I know that player has control? If he's fumbling it, that's not control. You can't call timeout. So you have to be sure. And that's why in college, I think it's still that way. They don't allow the coach to call timeout because if you're turning your head and now you don't see the play and maybe he lost the play, right? So you need to really make sure that all of those are in place before we call that timeout. And if we do errantly, then we've got to sell it and say he had it. Or look, there's ways out of that. But that's why I'm a little bit slower on a timeout because I want to make sure he has the ball. All right, let's go to the next video. This is a Missouri game. They love to wear their college shirts in Missouri. I'm going to play it fast again. What do we think?
I like a quick jump ball on that one so nobody gets hurt.
He got it out without a lot of force. So didn't take a lot of effort to get it out.
Who's stronger? Who's going to rip the ball out? Let him play. Play on.
I think now, I don't know who said that. I'm not going to say names. I think I know who said it. I pause. I want to say this correctly. One of my pet peeves is guys that say exactly what you said. Even though it really is true in certain cases. Oh, I like a quicker whistle because I don't want him to get hurt.
Right.
I don't like it because a lot of officials use that as an excuse as to why they blew their whistle too quickly. Well, I don't want to get, okay, but if you just, in that play specifically, and I'm going to play it again, if you just wait one more second and let them both have one or two tugs. Undue roughness isn't, have to be one tug or a kid fell down or that happens. That kids fall down all the time, right? Let them have a tug or two. And I don't know who said it, but there's generally a stronger player who's going to take the ball. Give them that opportunity to be able to take the ball unless it really is. Now, again, there are situations where you want a quicker whistle because you want to control the game. Maybe that's been physical all game and they're back and forth. And so you've got context, right? So I'm going to get a quick one because we've already had a couple plays that have been heating up. I totally get that. We're watching this play specifically. We don't have any of that context. I think if he had waited one more second, he would have seen, oh, they just took the ball. Do we agree?
She's got the ball.
I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
I just think that should have been a play on. Now, again, I'm not going to fault him for calling a hell ball. Technically, he could have said there was some undue roughness. He yanked it so hard and she fell on the floor. Oh, okay, I get that. But like I said, players fall all the time over nothing. So I don't know. I didn't see that play as an undue rough play. And I just think it could have played out, or at least given the opportunity to play out. Next one. Oh, same game, I think. Now, they didn't signal the hell ball signal, but that's what they called. I think it came after the clip got cut. What do we think of this one? I'm going to play it fast again, then slow. Good, bad, should we have waited? What do we think?
Do we have a travel there?
Could have been a travel. Could have been.
Got a foul. Foul first.
Could have a foul.
I like the jump ball again.
I like this jump ball call because here's my reasoning. Okay, ball gets it. There's two bodies already kind of, now they knocked it loose. They both kind of fall to the floor. Now we've got another player coming in.
That's a good.
And she's falling to the floor. And here's what I like the most about it. You've got two officials that come running in. They both kind of go to their back and yank. I think that was just a bit too rough to allow to continue. I know you could say, well, how does that make it too rough? And the last one doesn't make it too rough. We all have a different threshold, and it's not something you can just describe and say, look for this, and this is when you're going to call it. To me, I could see this play was just heating up, and it was getting out of control.
You also got both people on the floor when they tied up. They're on the ground.
So I liked that jump ball call. I didn't, if I'm being honest, I didn't see a foul. Not saying there wasn't one. There could have been one, but just some kids falling down, jumping to the ball, trying to get it. I would say, Mike, she probably technically traveled as the rule is written, but I'm not calling a travel on that. She's diving for the ball, trying to get it. It's so close to the floor. I'm allowing that to happen. Is she actually have control of it? Is she bobbling it? It's too close for me to call. So that's not going to be a travel for me. Doesn't mean she didn't. I think probably, again, by the rule she did. But I liked that call.
I agree with you. I was just asking the question because it was fast motion.
And you could see right here, like this, at this point, they go in and now they're like shoulder to shoulder. She holds it in. You can see the other players not letting go either. Right?
That's a hell ball.
I mean, they are literally chest to chest here, shoulder to shoulder. That's like, okay, we got to stop this. And the roughness was kind of bad, even with the whistle, right? As it continued on. So do we see that kind of difference on that one? All right, let's go to a Facebook play. Again, for our Facebook friends, if you're part of our Facebook group, you've seen this already and hopefully have read some of the comments. Let's talk about it. What do we think before I play it slow?
It's tough.
Oh, held ball.
That's nothing.
Do we like the hell ball or we don't?
Does it come when he puts up the shot, like an Article 2 held ball?
It looks like it got blocked away.
It's
loose there.
All right, now.
That ball's loose.
All right, now here's what Mike is saying. He's saying Article 2, I'm going to read it, says, an opponent places a hand on the ball and prevents an airborne player from throwing the ball or releasing it on a try or a tap for field goal. Is that what happened here?
No, looks like it. Ball's loose. Right
Blocked.
there, it's loose.
Okay. Did he prevent him from releasing it here?
He knocked it out of his hands. Is that the same as preventing from releasing?
Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself. That's very good. He did prevent him from releasing it. But what actually happened then? If the ball gets knocked out of his hands, what happened?
Loose, or it's a foul.
It released out of his hands. He's not holding it anymore.
Yeah,
so he did release it. It might not have been his idea to release it, but the ball was released. Right?
Right.
You can't have a held ball if you're not holding the ball. That's another thing. Go ahead.
The way I like to think about the Rule 2 held ball is the thing that everyone in the stands thinks is a travel. When the kid jumps up and you put your hand on it, he lands back down still holding the ball.
Right.
Right. Everyone in basketball, the universe, thinks that's a travel. That's what that kind of held ball is.
Totally stops it here. Totally stops it. And if this kid comes back to the floor holding the ball, you can't give him a travel because he was prevented from releasing the ball. But since the ball got knocked loose, it is a great, unless you're going to call a foul from behind, and I could see maybe you calling that. I could see it. But if it's not a foul, it's not a held ball either. It's a great blocked shot. It came loose. That's a play on, in my opinion. That's another play we see a lot. Guys like to come in, call a held ball, and everyone just kind of goes with it, and no one really questions it, but it's not. Because, again, it comes down to releasing of the ball. What does the rule say? It says prevents an airborne player from throwing the ball or releasing it. Well, again, it doesn't have to be my idea to release it. If the ball gets knocked loose, I've released the ball or I've been forced to release the ball. That's the way I interpret that rule. If I'm going to knock it so hard, I mean, why would I penalize that defender for a great blocked shot? Yeah. All right. Let's do the second Facebook play that I had here. This was a while back, a couple weeks ago, I think. What do we think of that one? I'm going to play it fast again. Pay no attention to who made the call. It's just your average official.
Good call.
Great sell.
It was a good sell. I will give you that. Good, strong whistle. Came right into the play. Gave the signal, but should we have called this a held ball? That's two. I got to play it fast because I want to. All right, I'm going to play it slow this way. Ball gets knocked loose. Okay.
Okay.
They're both kind of at it right away a little bit. Black player kind of overshoots a little, but grabs it again. Yes. So they're both really on it. But what happens if we just wait just a second? What happens?
I think 32 stands up, doesn't he? What's his number there?
30, I don't know what his number is. 30, 20, 24.
Okay.
24 takes the ball easily.
And then stands up.
He just takes it easily. Let him take it and violate by standing up.
He travels.
That, in my opinion, that play should have been a travel. And you could say, now I don't remember the context of this game. You could say, well, the official might be coming in quick because we've had some tough plays, right? And we want to make sure it doesn't get out of control. Okay, if that's the case, I get that. But on this play alone, give it a second. See what happens. The kid traveled. He took it easily and then stood up. He should be penalized for that. You made a great play, sir, and then you gave it away. Okay, everybody see that?
So does the coach.
Was the coach upset?
Yeah, you look at there's the coach there.
Oh, he's like pleading. Oh, it looks like he's calling for a timeout. He's calling. And now, good. Let's look at this. Okay, ball is loose. White grabs it here. But does he ever really have possession by himself?
No.
I don't. Probably not good enough for me to give a timeout. And the coach is calling for timeout right here, I think. But I can't tell. Go ahead.
He might have it there, right?
He might. And if anyone sees this, it's going to be the center. Do we agree?
Yes.
It looks he looks like Moses in this play. The water's parted. He has a perfect angle to see this. And he decides not to. And then there's a hand on there now, just that split second. Then the hand gets in there. Now we've got possibly two people who have possession. Depends how you want to describe or define possession, but he's kind of pinning the ball with his other hand to the floor, trying to control it. Now, when he's really calling for a timeout, we can't. Good for the center here. We can't call timeout here.
Nope.
And the lead comes in and either helps the center by calling a held ball, lets him off the hook, or hurts him by now he's got to explain to the coach. It looks like the center's like, what do you want me to do? They both had the ball over there. All right. So that one, again, a lot of these plays are, if we just be patient, a lot of this is start, develop, finish type stuff. You see it starting, watch it as it develops, and then sometimes you have to finish it with a held ball because it's not finishing itself. It's getting tied up and it's getting too violent. But if we just wait a second and let it try and develop, usually one kid's going to take it from another, usually. All right. Okay, similar play to what we saw before, not nearly as athletic, I don't think.
Josh, I have to interrupt you, but are we supposed to do that clapping thing, this? Are we supposed to do that? I never do that.
You got it.
I see it a lot, though. So should I be? Does it make me look better?
Makes you look like a seal, Frank.
Oh, does it? Thank you.
So the whole, right?
Yeah.
Guys do this. Why do guys do this?
College, I think.
It's not a college mechanic. I don't think it is. I could be wrong.
Just to sell it.
It's like there's two hands on it. He had his hand on it. He got his hand on it. He's stopping him. That's kind of what they're trying to signal. So I understand why guys do it. But the answer to your question is no. That is not a signal, and we shouldn't be doing it.
I saw it in like 2 or 3 other videos. I just had to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, I meant to actually bring that up.
Block shot either.
Well, that's the tip. That's the tip. This one, they're literally like making a sandwich with their hand. All right, let's go back. I got to find it again. What did we just call this one? All right, so did we like this call or no?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I really like it. I don't know why he's shooting that way, but he did prevent him from releasing it.
Did he?
No.
I guess
he was off the floor when he shot it, so the basket should have counted, and they shouldn't have called really anything.
You don't see his left foot hit the ground before he releases it?
Let's rewind it. I don't think so, no. Okay, so he does a jump stop here, okay? Whether it's legal or not, I'm not going to analyze. It's close enough. He does a little jump stop here. Jumps up. I can't see. Maybe.
That left foot is down.
Maybe. So you're saying he's calling hell ball because he saw his foot come down. Well, if that's the case, then I would agree. He had a good call. He came down. Instead of having a travel, he was prevented from releasing the ball. Okay. I didn't see that earlier. And if that's what happened, that's what he saw, then I would say that's a great call. What it looked like to me was, at least in fast time, was he prevented him, but then the kid persevered and put the ball up. Did the ball go in?
No.
No, it didn't go in. So you didn't keep him from 2 points, but now here's the other thing. Well, I got to mute everybody. Hold on. Someone's got a TV or something on in the background. Now, this is not in the rules book, at least that I found. Maybe someone can find it if it actually is, but this is what I've always been taught. On this Article 2 held ball, where you're preventing a player from throwing or releasing the ball. You really want to have it when it's at the pinnacle or close to of the shot. And on this one, if you watch, he's preventing it here. Yes, totally keeping him. But then now he's off. He's let it go. What does this kid try to do after that? He's trying now to put it up. Now, just because he comes down with his foot, he didn't prevent him from releasing it. He could have gotten rid of it. Correct? He might not have been able to release it like he wanted to, but he had the opportunity. He was still on his way up. Now, this one's really splitting hairs on that, but I say this because we need to be aware of where they're stopping the motion. Are they stopping it where they have nowhere else to go? As they start coming back down, that's one thing. But if they're going up and they put their hand on it and then they let it go and they still are going up, he might be coming down after it a little. But if they're still going up and he's got an opportunity, he didn't prevent him from releasing the ball. He just didn't release it on his own. Agreed or no?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I myself personally, unless it's a big stop and come down on both feet, I'm letting that stuff play on, because it's unless it's obvious to everybody. And I don't mean some of you all said like, oh, everyone in the stands thinks that. I don't care what they think, but the ones where everybody's like, that is 100%, even grandma in the stands who's knitting with her knitting needles saw it was a held ball. Those are the ones we get. But otherwise, if they're trying to get up or they're moving around, I'm trying to let that play on, because that's what people, fans, want to see. Yes? No?
Yes.
We as officials really do, and again, it's a fine line, but we really do too much over officiating.
Right.
We want to enforce the rules as they're written, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that we know the rules, but really people don't, I know you've all heard this before, but people don't come to watch us, right? They come to watch the players play basketball. And especially when they see this NBA stuff and the NCAA stuff, a lot of that trickles down. Doesn't make a lot of it legal, but that's what they're looking for: excitement and entertainment. And we have to allow that play to happen as opposed to stopping with every little technicality that we see. Drives me crazy when guys say, well, I have to enforce the rules. We are rule enforcers. We aren't allowed to use our judgment as when we should or shouldn't call. And my argument to that always is, when you get pulled over for going 31 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, I guess that cop's got to write you a ticket because he enforces the rules, right? Of course not. There's discernment. We always, in everything in life, we have the ability to say, okay, yes, but it doesn't really fit that situation, or I'm going to allow it because of this. So I think we have to do more of that and get the stuff that matters. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I want to make a comment on that clap, tip thing.
Yeah.
That one of the reasons you don't do that, of course, it's not a mechanic. And another one is, what if, which has happened, the trail comes in and it's got a foul. And then you're going like this, and your partner's got a foul. So if you don't do that, you're not going to have two different calls.
Yeah, any kind of, call that you make that signifies I got nothing, or
right.
They don't like, at least at the NFHS, they don't like that, because they'll have another official that comes in and says it's a foul or violation, and the coach, wait a second, he said, right? And it's just it's a credibility thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. How about that's totally a held ball. Two players had control of it. and there was undue roughness.
From the same team.
Oh, wait. It's not on same team? This one's just a fun, like, they're fighting over it with each other. And the official appropriately says, no, guys, that's traveling.
Nice.
Okay, so I know everybody knows this, but it has to be two opponents fighting for the ball.
Josh, I'll give you something from history.
Yes.
Back in the 1970s when I played ball, if two guys from the same team rebounded the ball and had both hands on it, it was an automatic travel whether they were pulling one another or not. Both teammates had hands on the ball. It was a travel.
I kind of knew that. I don't know if I knew that or if maybe that's just, that's because I did know that, Jack, or maybe I just deduced that because a lot of old timers, when they come down, they get a rebound and they come down, called it a travel. And a lot of times in men's leagues, the old time men would say that's a travel because they both came down with it.
Right.
And that's not a thing anymore. I don't know when that changed.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, I mean, as long as one doesn't travel. Now the question really is, what if one travels and the other one doesn't? Is it a travel or is it not because the other one had control? So, all right.
There it is.
Okay, the slapping seal. The slapping seal call.
The clap.
What do we think? Held ball or no?
So
Nothing.
I thought what might have looked like a foul to me.
That's nothing.
I see him get into
The ball
body
was released.
Here it is slow. Right now, before I play it on, we have one who says the ball was released, which I'm assuming means not a held ball. Yes.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
good. And one said possible foul. Anybody agree with the held call? Held ball call?
No.
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 That's a good block.
That is not a foul. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Agree.
Yes.
No foul.
That was a forceful block. It was pretty intense, but that was all ball. At least that's what it appears on this video.
Yeah, I agree. I thought maybe he got him with his body, but that's not true.
And what does he do?
He travels.
Did he knock the ball out of his hands?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I got lit.
So are you saying he's in control when he doesn't have the ball here?
There's no control.
He can't control it. So is he allowed to regain control and come to the floor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is. So it's not a travel because the ball was knocked loose. He's simply regaining control. And, well, maybe he traveled by picking it up before the dribble. But that goes to my, I'm not looking for a travel here. We had a monster block. The kid regained control. He's kind of fumbling it. I don't know where he is. Okay, let's just say, okay, he finally got it here. I'm not going to split hairs and nitpick this. I'm going to let this kid now try and make a move.
Agreed.
Okay, that was, again, to my point, that was one of those great plays that everybody came to watch. And then you blow your whistle and you seal it, and everyone in the stands is like, huh? So that stuff's got to, and that really wasn't a held ball, but that stuff's got to play on. All right.
Inside position along the Metamora.
Foul. We got a foul in this play. This is one of the championship games. I don't know from what year it is. Here it is fast again. Do we like the foul? Is it a held ball? Is it nothing?
I like the foul call.
Inside position
Wow.
along the Metamora. That was
What happened on this play?
We got a taller player.
Climbed all over, pushed through the back of the other kid.
Did we? What do we have right here?
Held ball.
Nothing yet.
Technically.
Do both of them have possession of that ball?
Yeah.
I guess you can't say they have possession.
Going forward.
They're both
through
holding the ball.
They're both holding the ball, and would we say that they're both relatively within their own vertical space?
Yes.
Yes.
You can't see if 24 is moving forward or not, Adam.
All right, you could say maybe he
Yeah.
jumped into him. Okay, but take that jumping into him out. What happens and why does this happen?
That's a hell ball. That's a hell ball.
Jump ball.
That's a hell ball.
Why did that action happen? Why did 24 go over the back of Black?
Because he's holding on to the ball.
Because he pulled it down.
No.
If they're both legally holding the ball here, you cannot fault the player from behind from going over the back because he's holding the ball so firmly that the other cannot obtain control without undue roughness. This roughness was caused by the Black player pulling it over down.
That's a hell ball.
Okay, now you guys could say, well, he jumped into him and okay, fine. I guess I could see that. But for me, this is a held ball and I'm going to get yelled at for it and I'm going to feel good about it. I thought he did a great job of jumping up. The ball came on. They're both really good here. He didn't jump into him so forcefully that he knocked his body. Watch the body positioning of the players on this. He didn't like jostle him all the way forward, right? They both came down basically where they went up at. To me, that's he slightly jumped into him. But then that's nothing. Slightly is nothing to me.
Especially in a championship game.
The official called a foul.
Well, the official called a foul. Now, that's another great point because this kind of stuff really does matter. When you've got two teams that can play basketball, a buddy of mine always says this is big boy basketball. They're big boys. They can play. They want to play. Let them play. Now, if you're roughing a 6th grade game, that might be a foul because he can't handle that little contact from behind and he comes in down. So that might be a foul in that level of a game. But as the skill level progresses and goes up, we have to allow more of that incidental contact because they can handle it and they want to play through it. My opinion, but I think it's a good opinion. All my opinions are good. Okay, here we go.
Most teams do not do. They outscore GBN by a good amount for the second half. They went on a 20-8 run in the third quarter.
What do we think? This one's not as clear cut, I don't think.
Most teams do not do. They outscore GBN by a good amount for the second half. They went on a 20-8 run in the third quarter.
I like the call.
Now we've got one official, the center, coming in, selling it. If you look at the lead, I'm going to back it up just a little bit. I don't know if the lead blew the whistle or agrees, but is signaling with his partner. See, he goes up jump. So we've got 2 jump signals. So they sold their call. They're all okay. Of course, we're always generally all okay with each other. Even when we dislike a call, we back each other up. Okay, but let's watch it slow.
8 run in the third quarter.
I like it.
Yeah. It's the right call.
Okay, the ball came loose, but when did it come loose?
Yeah, after he landed
back on the floor.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Correct.
Slight difference, yes. But he stopped him. He made him come all the way down. That's got to be a jump ball. Stop the action by textbook rule. If you allow it to play on, okay, it's not going to hurt anything. But he stopped him. He made him come down. Jump ball. I'm sorry. Held ball.
Yes. Held ball.
Now, again, one thing that I've been liking about a lot of these is the officials come in strong whistles, strong signals. Whether it's a good or a bad call, they are making sure everybody knows it's my call. I'm owning it. So I'm really like that. But I don't know if I like this call.
One guy wins too fast.
Yeah. Too fast.
Was there undue roughness?
No.
Nope.
They both got it again. And 13
pulled it away.
Well, I mean, 13 just held on to it. He didn't even have to yank on it. The black player falls down and either loses his grip or maybe lets go on purpose because he's falling down. Okay, well, I'm going to let him take the ball and go up with it. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great example again of players who just fall down. They happen to fall down.
I love how this player on the ground is like, hey, come on, what? I can't. He knocked me over. You know, that look on his face.
When the two players came down with the ball, weren't they facing away from the camera? So the center official on that side would have a better look. The lead official can't see if anybody has the ball or doesn't have the ball. The best look is going to be the center.
Yeah, it's the lead's primary, the center is secondary, so he's also going to look, and he has the better look. But to me, the takeaway of this play is, wait a second, right? Whether you saw it or not, can see if they're holding it or not. They both came down, and the player in the black falls down immediately and just loses the ball. If you just wait to allow that play to develop just another second or two, you're going to easily see that that's a play on. Do we agree with that? Or
yeah,
yes,
I don't disagree with your statement about who has the better look at it, but to me, that's irrelevant.
Well, that's why I'm agreeing, because the lead official is making a held ball call, and he can't tell whether the player in the dark uniform has his hands on the ball.
Yeah, he's totally blocked.
Just let him go another second. The center would have a look. Hey, if he let go of the ball, then we got nothing. If they both have the ball, then maybe he's going to call something.
Yeah, and I will say this too. Again, I liked him coming in strong and selling it. But sometimes when you see that, it leads me to believe that the official is too amped up, especially when they come in quick and I got, like, just calm down, let the basketball happen, and we can react. Yes, we want to proactively, keep things from happening, but really we're reacting to plays and to contact. I see that contact. Was it legal? Was there an advantage? Yes, there was. Okay, now I'm going to call it. Yes, that all happens within seconds, but that's kind of the process you have to go through. Oh, that's going to be a held ball. They coming down with it. Like, oh, no, the kid fell and pulled it away. Okay, I got nothing. That's kind of what we should be, not literally talking to ourselves, but, going through our minds. So
it's patient whistle saves the day.
Patient whistle. All right. Kind of a mess. Do we agree?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. No whistle from any official on this game. Is that good, or should we have had something? Did we see undue roughness on that play?
No.
It was the play on.
No, it was just a lot of messy ball tugging, coming loose, trying to grab it. I thought that was excellent, excellent patience by those officials. They let the play happen. Now, maybe they missed a travel. Someone yelled for a travel. But I'm looking for a travel here. Oh, that's not a travel.
So you don't have any problem with 14 or purple just bumping the head of the white player who had his hands on the ball there.
Let's go close and see. So you're saying 14.
The one who eventually ends up with the ball on the kick out on the outlet, he's standing right behind the play. He kind of reaches in and gets a piece of the kid's head.
Okay, right here or after this?
No,
play?
after he turns.
Because the ball pops out because 12 grabs it. Do we agree right now?
Here's the hand coming in.
Okay, now we could say, oh, possible undue roughness here. Let's just let it play out. And if you let it play out and he literally yanks it out.
I'm talking about the kid that's standing behind the two players.
I know, and I'm watching that kid, and he kind of reaches in, but does he actually hit him?
Incidental contact.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Play it. Play.
Okay.
It looks to me as though he kind of reaches in and then decides not to reach in because, look, he's like, no, I can't really. I don't want to.
Hit him right in the eye orbital.
He's standing still, though.
with his left arm, with his left the heel of his hand, right here.
Maybe
I don't think it was intentional. It was accidental, but I think it may have influenced.
Maybe, but maybe not. We don't have the right angle to see if he actually hit him, or was it into his arm, which hard to say.
Okay.
Hard to say, but for me, watching this live, it's just a mess, but nothing illegal.
Yeah, I think in real time too. I had the same.
Because in reality, that contact didn't cause it to go ajar. So in all reality, it was a good no call.
Agreed.
All right.
Yep, just devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to question you questioning. That's what we're supposed to be doing. All right, last one. I know I said the other one was going to be the last one, but
Ooh.
Okay, held ball was called. I'll play it fast again real quick. Held ball was called. Do we like a held ball, or should it have been nothing, or maybe a foul?
Travel.
Held ball.
I don't like calling travel there. I think I'd be much more comfortable with held ball when both players are kind of walking down the court with it.
The center official has a foul on this play.
One time I had two players on the same team doing that, and that's a travel, right? Two guys.
Right.
No, it looks like an open hand by the center. Doesn't it? I know it's far away, but all right, now I can say good or bad call because this is my game. And that was my call. And when I watched this on video, all right, come on. It's a mess, and they're kind of reaching, but look what 21 does. Look at his arm.
He's reaching in.
To get to that ball, what does he do? He totally hits the left forearm. No, what's that? Not forearm, bicep area.
Yeah, left bicep.
To get to it. And then when he does finally get to it, does he grab his arm here?
Looks like it.
Now, you could say we had undue roughness before that. Okay. But I think, for me personally, I'm not saying it should have been a foul. I still don't know. But he kind of comes under and causes some illegal contact here to get to the ball. Yeah.
Yes, but you couldn't see that from your angle.
What about, I know we did this last play. What about guy behind too? Looks like he's kind of pushing him forward.
You could possibly have a push. I can't see that he's actually pushing him or not.
Because if you go back, Josh, the reason why I say that is if you go back at the original, it looks like he's like you just see the arm extend a little bit on that side.
He fouls his own player.
But yeah, there. I'm not talking about there. He has it here, right? They go for it right there. right there as soon as he turns in.
Yeah, that's possible, but the brunt of that contact that I'm seeing is 21 totally upcutting with his arm into the other player's arm. To me, that's probably a foul instead of a held ball, because in order to get to that ball, he went through his hands. Anybody else see that, or am I crazy?
No, you're right.
It's true. In high school basketball, is the hand considered part of the ball?
But your partners did not have a good angle. They looked to me to be out of position.
In high school basketball, yeah, my partner was pretty far away. In high school basketball, the hand, while touching the ball, it's not, the rule book doesn't say it's considered part of the ball. But if you hit the hand of your opponent in an attempt to play the ball, then, and the hand is touching the ball, that's legal. Okay, so we see that a lot too, and I don't have any plays queued up to show that, but you hit the hand. If the hand gets hit, then we need to allow that to continue on. This one, he came up like under here, right? This is not part of a ball, playing for the ball. And if I knock the hand up and then eventually get to the ball, that's probably a foul, right? If I hit him under the arm and the kid pulls away and has the ball, we can pass on that because the contact didn't really do anything. But if that contact helped him get to the ball, I think that's probably a foul. All right, let's do a bonus play. Here's a play that was sent to me last season. And I'm going to tell you where to look just so you see it. We can play it again, but free throw down on the post, opposite table. Okay. Did you see it?
It looked like an elbow.
Elbow.
Let me play this out. And I got a lot to talk about on this. This is our bonus play. It's not a held ball play. Okay.
Yeah, she's out like the light too. Yeah, that's definitely an elbow.
Here it is slow.
Yeah. Right under the chin. Purposeful too.
Now my question.
She probably should have been, she could have probably been ejected for that.
Now that's my first question is, if obviously nobody saw it, but if somebody sees this, are we throwing the girl out? Or Absolutely. Is it just a really hard kind of play where she didn't mean to do it, so to speak?
I think it's towards the
flagrant
so it's,
up by the neck.
It's with intent.
He's out.
It's out of play. Bye.
If an elbow is thrown, I can't tell if she's looking at her or not. She might be looking at the ball, okay? So I don't know if she's actually keying her up. But if you throw an elbow upward toward a face, that is with intent.
Out.
At the very least.
Towards the face?
If this is at the very least, this is intentional. At the very least. Do we agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we can talk about whether we should toss her. Was it flagrant? I would say, in my humble opinion, I'm going flagrant. Because again, if you're throwing an elbow upward into a face, what is your intent? If you're throwing an elbow into a chest, that's still a foul, right? But it's in the chest. It's down where your normal movement is. But upward to a face, you gotta go.
She wound up to do it too, if you watch it.
Yes, she did.
That was intentional. That was flagrant. No question.
Can you run it through?
Right to her throat.
This is the reason I want to play this. We don't see this very often, right? So we get to talk about what do we see, how could we prevent it maybe, or what do we do after? But after this happens, we got a foul, holding foul. The lead calls a holding foul.
Okay.
Okay. I'm assuming right in here. And she grabs her by the wrist. Okay, fine. I'm good with that. But what does that say right now? that says they still don't know that kid is down hard on a foul.
Well,
And
center
then
hasn't moved.
And then what's going? The center sees that she's down, okay, and is there. I'm good with that. The old trail looks like they're walking that way. They see it. And the lead who called the foul has 5 fouls. They've been told 5 fouls, and they're still clueless to what's going on. Letting subs come in, saying, wait, hold on, we got a sub coming in. We, as officials, have to do a better job of knowing what is going on at the floor.
We need a funny whistle. We really do.
We at this point should be, I don't know if we ask the coach to come out at this point, but the coach comes right out. Doesn't even wait. Nobody beckons this coach on. Should we tee this coach up? He came out without being beckoned.
Hell no.
Heck no. He's coming with his player. We should be asking the coach to come out, check on your player, coach. And if he's going to yell at us, I don't mean yell at the top of his lungs, but if he's going to yell at us about how you can let this happen, are you going to tee that coach up?
No.
No. Nope. Unless he says, uses vulgar language or is really over the line, let the coach vent. His kid just got nailed and is in writhing pain on the floor. Take a dirty look or a snide comment. Just take it. Now that they didn't tee the coach up. I'm not suggesting that's what happened. But it does look like they're kind of going business as usual when it's not business as usual. You see a player on the floor, staying on the floor, stop. Don't even let subs come in. Just tell everybody to wait. Just wait. Make sure the player is at least being tended to before you move on. Do we agree with that?
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Well, when should you stop this? Because she goes down on the free throw. As the center is looking, center's looking right at it. When do you, as an official, say this is a catastrophic moment, whether you saw it or not? She's on the ground motionless. When do you, as an official, just stop?
Right when, if you're calling a foul, and I would say if you're calling intentional, it should be right when the rebounder has possession. Because as you see, she clearly has possession when she came down. That's when you stop right there.
Okay, but here's the premise.
Nobody knows.
Nobody saw this foul. Kid goes down on the floor. Do kids fall on the floor?
Yes, all the time.
Do kids fall on the floor?
How can the lead not see? That's his primary coverage on a free throw.
Do kids fall? Do kids fall on the floor and try to gain favor of officials because they're right? Okay. So I'm not going to fault even the center who sees this kid laying on the floor for doing nothing because maybe she's just trying to get something. But I would say, I don't know, maybe after about here, when she's lying on the floor face down, something's not right. Right?
Agreed.
So
if you go back to the shot, Josh, the lead official is watching the pair right there that's right in front of him. They move forward just as that elbow's going up. I don't think he saw it.
Okay,
He's gonna be blocked out.
So let me finish my thought, and then we're going to go to positioning real quick. Okay? Because if the player is down on the floor and the ball is even loose, you can stop play. Because if you think that ball is going to now end up to that player who's going to get trampled by somebody, safety. Don't worry about, I'm going to make sure someone gets control. I don't care. If you really think, because do we agree? This ball is pretty close to that player who's going down.
Yeah.
Now we had a foul which stopped the action, but I'm probably gonna maybe wait and I see the trajectory of the ball, maybe it's going away. But if you think that there's a possibility of that player getting hurt even further, stop it. Don't worry about where the ball's at. You can figure all that out later. Our primary responsibility, which is why we enforce rules as they're written, is to keep the player safe. This player is down, again, face down on the floor. Even if that player is acting it up, got hit and like totally dramatizing it, we don't know. You got to err on the side of she got whacked. And she did, as we saw. Okay. Does that answer your question, Shelby, as to kind of when to stop it? Maybe Shelby didn't ask it. I forget.
Well, I was the one who answered it because I told him tentatively it would be when she would have the rebound secured. I was just answering this question.
Yeah, and I think when she had the rebound secured, as you can see, the center is still chopping. He's not convinced that that player is down for the count. Again, because they didn't see how badly she got hit. So I understand the fact that, oh, she went down. Okay, she'll get back up. She'll get back up. She's not getting back up. Okay, so there's a thought process. I get that. Now let's go back to positioning and how did we miss this? Whose responsibility are those bottom two players?
The lead.
Both of them.
Right.
The lead has 52 white, right? That first space closest to him. And that's it. And then the other three players for the lead, right? Yes?
Yes.
Such a big advantage with 3-man over the 2-man we have in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah. 2-man, it's impossible. So then the center is watching what?
Shooter.
The center is watching the shooters in the line, yes, but also watching the other two, right? Do we got that?
Yeah.
So who has the clock on this one?
Well, what do you mean by the clock?
Well, someone's got their hand up for the clock. Is that the center or is that
chop the clock? Okay, so the center puts his hand up as soon as the ball is shot. Okay, and then chops it in. That falls on the center. What is the trail watching?
The other three players.
Beyond the 3-point arc.
Now, the primary responsibility of the trail is behind the free throw line and the 3-point arc all the way to the other end. Okay? So if there's lots of players around there, trail has to really pay attention. But if there's not, what can trail be helping with?
The interior.
If there's a lane violation, either on the side closest to him or opposite, and he sees it, you could come in and get that. Okay, we're going to allow our partner to get it first. My point is, all three pairs of eyes really should be looking into this lane here because the trail doesn't really have to watch the two blue players. And the trail's kind of going to be watching the white player to see if she crosses over the 3-point line too early, right? So we should all be looking in here. Who has the best look at this play?
Lead.
Lead.
The person responsible for it.
Lead, which is why those are his players. Now, I fault them all, but I'm not going to fault them to a T because what do we as officials tend to do during free throws?
Relax.
Relax. Take a break. It's just a free throw.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what we should never do. It's not time to relax. Especially this is like a 2-point game.
We can't take breaks.
You can't take breaks, especially during a free throw.
Breaks. It's just, that's what happens when you take a break or when you bring your focus down and not taking a break, but relax and and let's wait for the action to start up again. We've got to stay on it because otherwise we miss something like that.
And I have a feeling if you watch those two players, the last few possessions, they probably have been physical with each other for a little while.
That would be my guess is something happened with those two prior to that, whether it was a comment or a jab or a hard screen or something. And maybe unbeknownst to the officials, but something led to that. That's not just someone just nails someone for no reason. That girl was probably ticked about something. We all have had game wreckers in games where almost right away we recognize this player is doing things that I don't like, right? They're over physical. They're causing problems, the confrontations. So we have to recognize that.
They're playing at a level of physicality that nobody else on the floor is.
Well, it also looks like if I looked at the clock, Josh, there was like 52 seconds left in that game, and it was like a 2-point game.
Fouls are 5-1, but it's 22-26. It's the fourth period.
The fourth
it's
quarter.
It's a 4-point game. So this is where we really shouldn't be taking it. In the first, if it happens in the first period, I understand even more so. But in the fourth period, a 4-point game, we got to be on our game.
Right.
Josh, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Nobody from the visiting team who was violated even saw it. So it passed by the radar of everybody. How is this dealt with? Because you see the film now. Is this something that goes to IHSA? And then is there any repercussions on these referees for missing that?
I see what you're saying. Nobody saw the foul happen. Just the coach sees his player down.
I would have been storming the floor if I saw that.
Well, you're right, though. Everyone is the assistant coach is pointing, but everyone is so calm. You could tell nobody saw it. Nobody. So
that's what I'm saying. So
Josh,
with background of video seeing this, is there possible potential repercussions? How does the IHSA deal with this, both with us as officials, but also with that player?
Well, first things is, at least in Illinois, Mike, I don't know if Connecticut's similar or if there's other, I don't know who else is on the call, but if something like this happens, whether you have a foul or not, something like this happens, you have to file a report because the IHSA wants to know about it. And it's not just the IHSA. When you file that report, each AD gets the report. Now each school knows what happened. Okay. So you have to file a report. Many times though, Mike, the offended team sends the video to the state and said, well, they didn't call this, or what about this? And the state can review it and bring people in. This wouldn't be any kind of repercussions from the state because nobody saw it, but it's possible it could go to litigation. I could have a parent who says these officials are incompetent, or I don't know what they could say. I don't think it would, but it's possible. And you don't ever want to keep that possibility from happening, of something happening in your game, whether you missed it or not. And now you got to go to court because the kid, her nose is broke, or, heaven forbid something bigger happens to the kid.
It's happened in Connecticut.
I'm not so much worried.
We've had an official called to a court hearing before for a situation not unlike this, where they missed something in a game. I think it was a baseball game, but still.
So yeah, I mean, it's always, it's got to be. That's why we've always got to be on our game.
Hey, Josh,
I'm not so much concerned about us, but my question is, could there potentially be repercussions for that player having video, even though there was no foul called because nobody saw it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, and there was. I'll tell you that. If I remember correctly, the team, the white team who threw their elbow, suspended their own player. So that team took action, watched the video, saw what happened, and they took care of it. But it could have been raised up and something. I don't know if the IHSA can do something or not. They probably could. But yes, with video, usually it's sent in, it goes to both schools, they review it, and then the schools take care of how they want to handle the repercussions.
Hey, Josh, can I add something?
If that lead official saw that elbow thrown, should he have killed it immediately?
Yes.
Yes.
Because one, it's a foul.
Yes.
Right? And then once you stop it, because you've got a foul, now you can determine, is it flagrant? Is it intentional? Is it common? Is it technical? You have all this variety to choose from. But yeah, as soon as you see it, it's like any other foul. As soon as you see it, you kill it. It doesn't matter where the ball is or what's happening. You take care of it. Dan, you had something to add.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think we've all had a couple of game records on our game, and preventative officiating kind of tells us we're going to talk to the kid. We might even talk to the captain, and we might even talk to a coach or an assistant coach at a downtime, timeout, other free throw. I need help. 34 is acting up. Just let's keep an eye on him. Number two thing is the worst of those fouls, obviously a non-basketball play, flagrant. Doesn't matter if you're area or not. You can call anything. It's a flagrant. You can boot out anybody anytime for safety. It's a basketball play disguised. Now, the art of officiating is to find normal play, normal screens, normal box out. But when that kid disguised a normal box out into a flagrant, that's like the worst of the worst.
Right.
And we have to see off the ball all the time. And that I'm glad that team did a self-imposed what do you call it, suspension. But my God, that kid deserved more. That's up in the head region and could have caused serious jaw-eye issues. So yeah, just watch out for the disguised bull.
And that's where, again, some of the terminology we use about a basketball play, that's a good way to determine what level of foul to call. But just preventatively, how could we have prevented this from happening? You could have, one, saw these incidents as they happen. That's the fourth quarter, right? So there's a lot of context in the game. We would have halftime that we get to talk about certain players who are doing certain things. We have a lot of timeouts near the end, probably, to get together saying it's heating up or whatever it might be. Constantly talking and recognizing which players are game wreckers, which players are game savers, which ones we can rely on. And to Dan's point, go to the coach. Coach, 34 White, she's on the edge. I might have to pull her out, or I might have to give her a technical, or I don't want to have to do it. Can you handle it for me? Coach, appeal to their senses. So it's you and him together in this fight for safety, and not just me being a jerk and I want to tell you you're going to, right? When a coach feels like they're part of the solution, they're way more helpful than if we're trying to tell them that they're part of the problem. Does that make sense? Now, that might not have been avoidable at all. I'm not going to say shame on those officials for not having good preventive officiating. It might not have been, because it was pretty sneakily. She came in, she did a box out. And yes, we all saw on the tape, she reared up and went out, but she tried to do kind of a box out type of play. So yeah, was being sneaky. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to see, but we have to see it. All right. Well, that was our bonus play.
All right.
Held ball, and I know we ended up in flagrant foul territory, but was that helpful? Did we cover scenarios that you've seen and either have gotten right in the past or now you will get right in the future?
Very good.
It was good. Thank you.
Good. I want to pull up the training schedule so we can look at next month. Next month is September 19, and we're going to be talking about manage the game, players, coaches, fans. I'm hoping to not necessarily show like technical fouls or whatever, and we'll probably have some of those, and I don't want it to be all coach official reaction. Just certain situations, kind of like this, would be a great situation of how to manage the game. This happened. How could we have managed to not let it happen, or so forth? Does that make sense? So it should be a good meeting next month. Hopefully you can make it. It's the third Thursday of the month, as every meeting is the third Thursday of the month. So hopefully you can come and make it.
Right.
Thanks for coming, guys. I know
thanks, Josh.
We went way over our hour today.
Thanks,
I'm sorry,
Josh.
but good discussion.
Thanks, Josh.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Take care.